Washington.
No, it's 100% correct. I think there will be not a knockout, but gloves will be laid on the opposing boxer. I think you get things like it's such a obvious target when you have Hunter up there. It's going to be, even the mainstream media might have to cover that one, just like Johnny Depp, the boy genius. But anyway, there was a very interesting insight that I heard that the Quinnipiac poll has Biden's approval rating at 33%. And why is that interesting and very devastating? Because CNBC had him at 38%. So that's within the margin of error, and obviously suggests things are not all copacetic. But an analyst also said, I believe you said this on our previous podcast, that the Quinnipiac poll interviewed or questioned all potential voters, not likely voters. So this pollster said it's really more like 30%.
Again, Quinnipiac polls survey the country. It's basically everybody. However, we do know from the past that Quinnipiac's polls also tend to swing to the left. And we saw this during the 2016 election. And of course, I've spoken to folks over at Quinnipiac polling several times since then. And as far as any of them know, none of the methodology has changed in that time. So they're still swinging to the left. If they're swinging to the left and it's 33%, I mean, my God, that's the end for him.
No, that's the end. It's also so much worse because you look at Jimmy Carter. He had horrible poll numbers. I don't know exactly what they were, but they weren't good. But he was an intelligent man, and I say that in all sincerity. Policies, blah, 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 we got it, right? But he, in front of the camera, could pull up a couple of points because, you'd say, okay, we're in a recession, there's gas lines, blah, blah, blah. It's the opposite. So what do you do if you're in the Biden administration? Because every time, I'm sorry to say, he is the president of the United States, but he's an abject moron and a pathological liar, gets out in front of the public, it just gets worse. So you're really between a rock and a hard place. What are you going to do, Dr. Lotkin? You can't have this guy plead your case. It's like Johnny Depp pleading his civil case. I'm sorry to bring that up again. It's not good. Am I correct?
No, it's not good at all. The problem is, during the Carter presidency, yes, Jimmy Carter was an intelligent man.
Yes.
Even more importantly, though, he was trying to do what he felt was best for the country as a whole, and he was trying to deal with the situations at hand. Obviously, looking back at history, he did not handle them well, but he was trying. Same thing, Bill Clinton. He was the darling of the left, and after the midterms of his first term, he saw, okay, that's not going to work. The country does not want that. He turned direction and became much more moderate. Biden, he's stuck on this preconceived agenda. There's an old military saying that says no plan survives contact with the enemy.
The first shot, yes.
Yes, and as our friend Chris Calandra used to quote, Mike Tyson always used to say, everybody has a plan until I punch him in the face. Well, Biden has been punched in the face over and over again, but he's still sticking to the plan that's not working. And unless he does an about face and moves to the moderate Democrat that he campaigned as and tells the left to sit down and shut up, because there are enough moderate Democrats plus independents who will support him if he does that, that the left doesn't need to control him. But his handlers are all from the left, so they're not going to give him that option.
Plus, he's a feeble old man
Yes.
that is scared to death of conflict. AOC gets into his face. He will lose that debate, even though AOC and the squatters, a bunch of friggin' intellectual lightweights. You know, that compared to dementia, you're looking like a friggin' Tolstoy, okay? So he's scared to death, and I don't know if he has the capability, but I think I would conjecture that he's questioning why he ever did this crap. Speaking of why he ever did this crap, CNN Plus, we already talked about this last week, but essentially the cast has been done. It's pretty much over.
Yeah, CNN and Warner Media announced that they are ceasing. Well, no, they haven't said it's over yet.
Well, I know. I'm
the
saying,
plan,
yes.
Yeah, but they have announced that they are stopping all promotion of the platform. It looks like Discovery is going to roll it into HBO Max just to, save the money that they've already spent on it.
Oh, wait a second, Dr. Lopkin. Wait, Dr. Lopkin, does that mean I should subscribe to HBO Max? Because, God, I want to see Chris Wallace, don't I? I mean, I don't have an HBO Max subscription, but certainly, God, I mean, how could I not? What else do I get?
Well,
the rest
honestly,
of the crew?
I don't think they're doing it to boost HBO Max. HBO Max is doing fine just the way it is. It's simply a matter of taking all of their streaming services and merging them, because they have also announced that Discovery Plus, which was done by Discovery Communications prior to the merger with Warner Media, will also be merging into HBO Max. So they're just going to have one streaming service to manage. They'll throw everything in it and watch. I can guarantee you over time, the programming that they've already paid for CNN Plus will slowly fade away as each season wraps up. You'll see things not being renewed, and eventually it'll just go away.
And I have to say that I was correct last week. It's when you get a free paper. When I lived in Farmington, Connecticut, and I drove by this place that had 50 Hartford Courants stacked up, yeah, I'd pick one up once in a while to get the sports scores or whatever local high school scores, what have you. Am I actually going to pay for the Hartford Courant? Absolutely not. Yes, so it's the quandary between free goods and paid goods. It really shows what people actually value CNN, what they're actually, which is zero. 10,000, that's like, whoa.
Well, again, we've mentioned this in the past.
Accurate.
They couldn't get people to watch CNN for free. So why would they expect people to pay for it? It was badly conceived, and, the project's dead.
It's over. So a little maybe on a minor note or a less draconian note is that Motorola and others have a deal with the NBA to put no, actually, the MLB, I apologize. No, MLB, Major League Baseball. The NBA is one thing, but Major League Baseball, really, you're going to stoop to that level? But that's just my own. I'm a traditionalist.
Actually, Major League Baseball's ratings have been up this season, so I can see why they might want to do this. There's a lot more technology involved in the game, so I'm guessing that's where Motorola's coming in, because all of these stadiums need to be wired up for all this new tech. So I'm sure it's an overall deal that they'll be getting much more value than what they're paying for. So I think,
well, something.
For Motorola, I think it's a good deal. What annoyed me was on opening day. I noticed it immediately. Every Major League Baseball's uniform had the Nike swoosh on it, and Motorola is at least an American company. For baseball, that should matter. Nike's making their products over in China using slave labor. Major League Baseball should not be in bed with them.
100% agreed. Yes, I would agree with that one 100%. And I love the fact that Major League Baseball, it's really what comes around, goes around, so to speak, that I played baseball when I was in high school, loved it, loved it, loved it. Then I kind of got away from it because, you know, you're young, you like more action. And now, I don't know, you know, because I'm an old guy, but I really like Major League Baseball. I don't know if that's, is there anything to read into that? I don't know. But, yeah, I'll watch a couple innings of a game, and I find it interesting
Honestly,
and enjoyable.
I've spoken to a lot of people, and I honestly think that COVID may have been the best thing to happen to Major League Baseball, because football went on through COVID and basketball went on through COVID. Um, Baseball, you had a shortened season, you had no people in the stands. It wasn't quite the same. It didn't feel like baseball. This year, they've made a lot of new rule changes. As I said, a lot more tech involved in it. And people are saying, you know what? We're watching baseball more often because we missed it.
Yes. I think it's a very good thing, an American institution. By the way, the most highly skilled game. If you shoot 33% as a basketball player, you're cut. 33% as a baseball player, you're a
Gets you into
rock
the Hall of
star.
Fame.
Exactly. We have a couple more things here. Manchin, the Iran deal. Manchin and other Democrats are pushing back on that. Of course, Blumenthal, I don't hear him. I'm sorry to say I'm Jewish, so I have a right to say this and express my disbelief and contrarian view with our esteemed senator from Connecticut. But where is he? How come he's not? Manchin's not Jewish. What's going on with our friend from Connecticut? How come he's not saying it's something that would obviously be detrimental to Israel? I saw him on the news a couple days ago talking about some bullshit I didn't even give a shit about local restaurants or something like that. But shithead is nowhere to be seen or heard when it comes to Israel. Gee, what's all that all about?
Because Blumenthal will never speak out against the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party has swung away from Israel.
Yes,
they've made room in their ranks for anti-Semites like Ilhan Omar, but
and the rest of them, trust me, AOC, yes, the list goes on.
But God forbid you should be in favor of Israel's right to exist. The Democrats don't want to hear from you.
Well, I think it's reprehensible that Mr. Blumenthal is anything like. You could have mice in Connecticut are being killed too often by roadside killings, and because of salt, because of the salting of the roads during the winter. But Israel, it's like the crickets. Yes, and he will be reelected overwhelmingly in Connecticut. I don't know what that says, but it speaks volumes of the geniuses in Connecticut. Yes.
It really does, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
We've reached, certain states, and I'm not going to name the states, but it goes in both directions. Some swing Democrat, some swing Republican, and the people in these states basically vote the party line, regardless of whether or not it works, whether or not it's good for the country or their state. But voting for the opposing party is just beyond their capabilities. And the problem is, doesn't matter which party's in control, if it's Democrat or Republican. When you have one party control, things go to hell.
Yes, they do. But, there's been a tradition, myself being Jewish, that the Republicans have been on the side of Israel. Reagan, okay? Carter was no fan of Israel, and he admits it in his writings, okay? And then you have Blumenthal and the others. If you're a Jewish Democrat,